Okay, so hi guys. I'm Rohan. I'm a final year student at IIT Madras, and I have with me the first ever batch to have graduated from IIT Madras, and we are honored to host them. And we had them here so that we can know all about their Insti life, how Insti was back in the 60s, how they spend their time, how they see their legacies being taken forward by us. So, can I have your introductions, sir?
I'm Pritamlal Kapur and I'm from batch of 65. I joined the institute in 1960 and passed out in 65.
I'm Chandrasekaran, um, graduate of 1965, BTech Metallurgy.
I'm Pradeep Mallick, batch of 65, electrical engineer.
I'm Premnath Bhaskaran, same batch, second batch. I'm a mechanical engineer.
And to clarify, we are actually the second batch to graduate.
Yeah, all of us are second batch.
And I'm from the 85 batch, 85 BTech batch, 89 MS batch. I'm here because I'm with the Heritage Center.
Sir, so when we entered IIT, we had to write an exam called JEE. But what we understood is the process when you got into IIT was very different. Can you walk us through how it was for you to jump into IIT and how your journey was into the campus?
First of all, let me just clarify one thing. That I've talked to all my friends and we are 100% sure that if we were to try and give the entrance exam today, we would all fail.
Yes.
So yeah, that's true. Yeah. So things have become, you're much smarter, you're much better than all of us. And yeah. And that's the main thing that we wanted to say.
You want to say something else on this?
But I just wanted to add to that and say that you asked about the process.
Yes.
So IIT Madras I lived in Madras, I schooled in Madras, so I came to know from my father that there was a new institute starting. But we'd heard about IIT Kharagpur. So I applied to Kharagpur and sent my mark sheets. We were toppers in school, right? So got admitted in Kharagpur. I simultaneously applied to Madras and got admitted here. But since my parents were living here, I chose to join IIT Madras. And as Pritam has just said, if we had an entrance exam like you have today, I don't think we would have got through. So we got through on the strength of our score sheets because we topped our schools. And when we entered this place, we found that everybody else was a topper too. So that's how it.
Yeah. And those days, what they said was, with Tamil Nadu, they will not recruit more than. They had 120 students they wanted to induct. Tamil Nadu, they set aside 18, like that. Then Karnataka, every state, they had a quota. So whoever applied, and among them, who were all the toppers, they called for interview with some 20% extra. And then during the interview, they processed, and then they selected the top 15 or 18, whatever that allocation was there. And then they gave them the admission. So it was based on a quota. So when we joined, we had representatives from every state in the country. It was a mini India. In this campus, when we did, it was a mini India. Today, it is not like that. Today is all very heavily loaded in terms of one state. Or like that, Tuesday, people who go for a coaching center, something like that. Or it is heavily loaded on one coaching center. But it was not so. Nobody knew each other at all. Okay, of course, we were classmates in pre-university in like college. But like that, but people don't. Everybody did not know each other. So that is different.
I think my story is almost the same as Pradeep Mallick's story. I was in Mumbai. My father was in Patna. He writes me a letter, look, there's an IIT opening in Madras. And I asked him, what was that? He said, yeah, it's a special school, it's college. Okay, so I applied with all my grade sheets and filling up the form. And I was called for an interview. I passed that. It was a nail-biting experience. But anyway, we got through. And here we are. But sure, it was competitive as there was of play. The bar was there. And you had to qualify among those quota of 15, 20 or 20. Yeah, I think maximum, but only 120 persons were. So only what? That was the limit because they didn't have the capacity.
So you had to go through an interview process.
Interview process. Yes.
Can you tell us about the interview? Because we didn't go through any of that. We just had a exam. We just had to select. We just had to make a list of the colleges and the branches we want to go in, and voila, it was done. We just got an invitation. So can you tell us about the interview process? How was it for you, and what sort of an interview was it?
Yeah, I remember what I remember. That's over 65 years ago. I remember I entered the room. There were 4 or 5 profs. There was Koch. Dr. Koch was there. The director was there. There were 2 more persons. I don't know. Han was there. There were 2 Evans. So they talk to you first, and then they ask you some specific questions. For example, do you know what Archimedes' principle is? And suppose I show you a cork. Why does it float? From that, can you more or less say what the specific gravity is? And then there's another person who showed me a lot of instruments, pliers, and can you name the
Can they ask you?
instruments? Okay, level, plumb line, pliers, hammer, files, and then he asked, what sort of file is that? Is that a fine ply, fine file? And then what else did he ask me? I remember one of the classmates, Kuruvilla, the director said, you know how to draw, do you? Why don't you draw my face? So he drew a face. Oh, that's pretty good. Something like that. It's formal but informal. Okay, a combination of it. That's my experience. I agree with you. I think they were trying to test the behavioral aspects and our responses, the way we respond, the nervousness features, etc. I remember one question, that practical question the German asked me. He had a cork, a bottle stopper, cork, and either diameter of say 2 inches on top and 1 inch below. So it was a cork shape. And he put it on the table on its side and he pushed it so that it would rotate. Right? And the German asked me in his German English, so what is the diameter of the circle in which this cork is doing? What's the radius of this circle there? So things like that, practical stuff.
Yeah. See, they knew that from the mark sheet that your theoretical knowledge is there. They were only testing for the practical thing or the social things, general knowledge, and what is his reaction? How is it? See, they were studying the human aspects of this thing. And then they said, okay, you are in or out, like that. That was there.
So relate to.
Yeah, I think the interviews at that time were very much focused on the practical aspects. And they all asked us questions which were to bring out the practicalness of our people and our experience. Yeah.
So that was.
I know there were more interest now. What all the interviews in Madras? I know I had it in Madras. I had it in Madras. You also had to come to Madras. Yeah. What they're looking for is whether you can. If they ask you a question which you don't know the answer, apparently, for example, this cork thing going wrong. So the way is you think, okay, you have an axis here, it's in the center, it moves around. So if I know how long it moves around, I can find out the circumference and diameter. That sort of thing. They want to know whether you are creative about They're more into your thought process there.
See, such stark difference from how you guys got in then versus now. So okay, so now you've cleared the interview. Now you're actually in IIT. So how was your first impression of the campus? Can you take us through what you felt like when you entered the campus?
Yeah. My first experience of campus over here was first that it was far, far away from Delhi. That's where I come from. It took 2 days of journey to come here, over here. And then we were put up in half-ready hostels. And we were able to find all kinds of mistakes with the design of the hostel, the equipment that was used, etc., etc. Everything that we could find a mistake with, we were able to find the mistake with. And we were able to also, as we came, and we found that, for example, our Dr. Koch, who was, I still remember that he taught us gyroscope. And I still can't remember how nice they to us. He used to be in that big hall and tell us that, by a ship, when it goes into the troubled waters, why that ship remains constant, and that's because of the gyroscope. And then he used to say, gyroscope, now see, I sit like this on a chair, and he'd open his arms and close his arms, and the speed of the chair would decrease, change. Yeah. So he was a great guy, and that was our experiences that we found.
I have a very vivid memory like you about him. He was a little rotund, little plump person who spoke hardly any English, hardly. But his gestures and gesticulation explained the whole subject of this gyroscope that he talked about. It was like a rotating chair, revolving chair, right? So he sat on that, and he would sit there and fold something in his hand like dumbbells, and he stretch his arms at rotation.
Explain the moment of the
Experiment, centrifugal, and all that stuff.
And then I remember also he talked about random theory, just like ants moving around, and that's how the atoms move around. It was very hot at that time.
It was very hot.
Very hot. Very hot. And this poor man, he sweated, and his face became red. He's the chubby face. That sort of
Sometimes we felt it was a punishment for the Joats, right?
Yeah. And then, but actually the question, what was the first impression that we got when we went there? The moment it was a rainy day, we reached the hostel, and we were asked to pick roommates because we had to share rooms. Because the Taramani hostel was half finished, so we had to share rooms. So we had to find out, okay, who could be a roommate. So I was talking to one person, and he said, okay, let's be roommates. We became roommates. We were assigned a room. And then we had a neighbors also, the rooms, and then that was a voodoo room. Because you couldn't be together if you were the same region and same language and same things like that. Okay, so once we went there, and then we had to go to the mess. The mess was quite a messy job also, because we didn't know really what sort of food you were. We get. There were vegetarians, there were non-vegetarian, people from the north, people from the south, and it was a confusion actually. And then where to wash your hands. The bathrooms was right at the end of the corridor. There were, I think, 6 or 7 bathrooms there and places to wash. So to adapt oneself to that, because each person had a desk, a steel bed, and that's all. Cupboard, there was a cupboard. That's all we had. It was a cupboard. A cupboard in the cupboard.
No, covered was the concrete there, no? Yeah. Correct. Because the concrete inside the hole in the wall.
Hole in the walls. You know, they have workshop now, even 6 months.
We do. No, not for six months. Much smaller time, but we do have workshops. I didn't mean to ask you. So I have heard many stories, good and bad, about the workshops as to how tiring they were, how challenging they were. So
That's what we were asked to make.
is this a dice? Is this
Yeah, we made that by hand.
We may
you made this by
you tile everything. And that it is each one had to make one. Each one had to make one.
and how was this made?
By filing each
You're given a round piece of letter. Yeah. And you're given a place where you have your files and your instruments, when you have your voice. So you put that there and then you chip till you get a crude tube. And then from there, you keep on filing around. And then each time you have to take a set square and then see whether there's any space between, whether you're filing properly.
Why sometimes I couldn't see the light, but he always saw some light.
I will tell you, I mean, you beg your filing. It has to be perfectly flat. So they'll come and then check like this. Light will be there. Repeat. So, for me, what happened was, the workbench was about 3 feet. On that, the vice was there. And on that, it is there. So, I'm a short man. So, what happened? I did it. It was flat, all right, but it was slanted. Because I was standing here and that piece was here. So, I could not file like that. So, how much? So, like that. So, keep on filing. Then, that Max, he came out and then put a small pencil here. Come on, now you do. He helped me. So then I could make it. See, but they were very strict. No compromise. Like this, like that, like this, like 4 angles they will check. And you don't see the light, but he sees the light through it.
And they're two separate pieces. These are two separate pieces.
Yeah, two separate pieces. They're screwed together. And then you have to make a hole. You have to screw the hole, make threads there, and then take off. And then they teach you how to.
And by the time you come to the, come out of the class and come to the hostel, all you'll have blisters. Full blisters.
And when you chisel, you have to hit your hammer, you get it all.
Yeah, here, you're all, but they insisted. They said, we want practical engineers. Everything, even carpentry, everything was done. We learned.
Then we had carpentry also. You had device joints, special joints, tenon joints. No, we had a spell yet. Even on the lathe machine, he would first ask us, take on with the machine, which will make a absolutely a perfect cut. And then he'd say, okay, now fit off the machine and do it by hand. And then you have to take it by hand and make sure that it's absolutely the same. If it's not absolutely the same, he's the reject. Once again, start all over again.
So, when you asked about the experience that one faced, when we entered the campus, as Chandru and others have mentioned, it was a quota system, so we were representatives from all states. It was like a mini India. For me, who had grown up in Madras, this was really wonderment. It was like, opening your eyes to a new world. Suddenly you found people speaking different languages around you. And for me, I would say the first year, classrooms apart, it read in only socializing and getting to know.
The first whole year?
First year, or first 6 months. It was an experience, especially as he says, we had to share a room in the beginning. I was lucky that I found somebody who was from Bengali speaking. But I knew him few months earlier. He lived in Madras. He had joined actually 1 year before us, but he had to repeat the first year. I came to know him, so we got together and said, let's share the room. But that apart, that was one person that I came to know intimately. But getting to know the others was really a full-time job. And in fact, we run to classes at 8 in the morning or I don't know what.
But it was an experience, one eye-opening experience, great learning. Then from there, we went to the hospital the first day. They got us registered and all that. Then the warden introduced himself. And then the next day we had to go to classes, but classes was not on the campus, it was outside the campus.
It wasn't in the campus?
So we were in the campus, the classes were outside the campus. Because
there were no buildings.
there were no buildings, there was no classes there. They were all forest. So we had to take a flatbed lorry.
Yeah, and to take a lorry.
Yeah. So that had a tarpaulin. Okay, it had a tarp on top. So we got into it. And we had to make over 3 trips because otherwise we would be like sardines, no? Anywhere, we were like sardines. So the first few days with the tarp on top, with the sun blazing down, oh, that was a torture, really. Like a concentration camp torture. And then we decided, okay, let's take the tarp off. So, yeah, the tarp was taken off. So, okay, now we get wind. Then all of a sudden you find, and the lorry is going forward, you find trees with branches across, branches. And then someone shouts, careful, and everything. And that's the story of almost every day. Careful, there's bow coming. So you never know. After the rains, maybe the leaves were wet and then would come down and hit us. So anyway, that was an adventure. Now the thing is, if you wake up early in the morning and you have your breakfast early in the morning, you go into the lorry and then you stand there. You get into the first batch. The first batch comes out of the lorry in that place where you get the class and you get the best seats. You get best seats. I remember.
Which was the first or last ones?
The first time I went, I think it was the second or third batch. Oh, I was right at the end. I couldn't hear what the professors say. I just couldn't hear it. So that was a competition actually. Who wakes up early in the morning to get the first trip in the bus? Surviving of the fit in the.
One more thing, the drug. People like me and we just couldn't get in because it was too high. And there were people, they come out, they listen, practically lift us. Or somebody will be from behind, push us up to the thing. So many times, sometimes we would take the T-square and all, so it will fall down this way. So Anand used to write a nice article on that. The way that, getting on to the it's a pity.
So, how were the classes like? Do you remember any of your favorite lectures or any of your favorite professors? And can you share the stories of how classes were?
Yeah, actually, I remember some classes. I remember, I think Dr. Das, mathematics class, mathematics.
She was Nigam or Das? Das? No, Cop. No, Con. On.
No. Han was the girl. Rivasta was vector analysis. Yeah. Rivasta. Where was the Dr. Das, no? When you do Well, anyway, he used to be a pan eater, so all his words used to be red. And he had a very thick Bengali accent. And he couldn't shout much. So if you stay in the back, yeah, you couldn't hear. If you were in the front, you would panic. Anyway, he started classes on. He said, okay, let's say we have only 2 digits, 0 and 1. So that made us think, you can't count up to 10, only 0, 1, 0, 1. How's that? And then he explained the whole thing. That was one of the things. And the other one was chemistry thing. I don't know. I don't remember the name of the person. He started off with adsorption and absorption of on metals and other surface. I never heard the word adsorption. I said, oh gosh, that's a new word. And so each class was new words get gotten. And then we had one professor, he was organic chemistry. And he talked about Kekule. So he became Dr. Kekule. Remember that? Yeah, like, but he's right, because it was really fun. Like, to class, it was uncomfortable in the class. And if you were at the back, we couldn't hear properly. So you got a lot of distractions, in the sense that your mind wandered. And it was a challenge. If you wanted to do well, then you had to rush and get the first notes right.
See, those classes in classrooms in AC college and CLRI was that, I mean, it's a small rooms, not a big hall. And in the summer, you have to keep it open because it's so very hot. Yeah. And but there will be noises. So acoustics was so bad. So you could manage.
It was a chair.
It was like, yeah, was it?
And you had alternate weeks of classes and classrooms and workshops. So.
No, we had all the workshops together. Yeah. Is there workshop every day? Yeah, we had every day project.
That's a 1 week of workshop,
or not to be all now.
That's what
be 1 week. Want to know? We had, but only afternoon was mostly the workshops. To morning time, we go to the AC college, some lectures, come back for lunch, and then we will take it to the highways. Highway. There, the workshops classes will be there, and from there,
the workshop once a week. Because once a week was just sad, metal shop, and once a week was correspondent. No. I think it was 6 months or 3 months of workshop only. Once a week. Workshop alternate weeks. Alternate weeks. So yeah, alternative. That's what is. Yeah, it's pretty correct. Alternative.
So, this is in the class. How were the exams? How was so we have 2 quizzes and 1 end semester exam. Was the same for you, or was it any different?
No, we had 5 exams.
5 exams in one semester.
The midterm, final, and 3 other surprise exams.
Surprise exam, what they call periodical.
Periodical.
Separate periodical will be there. It was surprise. And you will be thinking that you are going to class, and then you say it's an exam.
And they were weighted. They were counted for your final scores.
Yes.
It was a weighted system. It was weighted system.
Maximum percentage for the final. Another next grade go the half yearly. And when they all the 3 period was that, but 15, 15. So they were weighted. Well, in your periodical, could not have got. If you miss your periodical, you lose that grade. There's no way of recuperate. So you had to perform all year, And I think we put the same for your 5-year also. Didn't take grade year by year, or in year, then it was grade year by year. Year by year.
Year by year, grade. Year by year was? No, grade. You will get the grade.
No, very well. But if you did well only in the 5th year, did that finally count for your graduation, or you had to? They counted some for your 1st year, 2nd year, 3rd year.
No, I think the 4th and 5th year was they didn't. See, first 3 years are weighted. First 3 years we had common class, more or less. Okay, we did not get to choose our branches. Only the 3rd year we after choosing, but still different. Some common classes were there. Like you people, choose branch. We didn't have a choice. They studied, then you apply, then they will give you among the people. They will give what you want. you have to give first preference, second preference, third preference. Then, according to this, they will choose. They will give you.
So what was the most sought after branch?
Mechanical
Mechanical engineer.
correct. Mechanical engineering. Okay. Electrical was also equally. Electrical was also equally.
I wanted mechanical, but I never got it because I didn't qualify.
Electrical was also. No, I think your chemistry was strong then.
By electrical, so I was electrical. And I remember the professor, head of department, called me a reluctant electrical engineer. Again, what? I was named reluctant.
Reluctant electrical engineer.
Yeah, so my first choice was mechanic.
I see.
Actually, that was given after the first year, no? Second year. After the second year, they put you in.
Second year, we brought speciality.
After 2 years, we
After 2 years, 2 years.
But third year also, there was some common classes. Something, for instance, chemical engineering and metallurgy have some common classes.
Yeah, they like those grouped up.
Like that. It's some sort of probably even mechanical engineering may also have some common.
Yeah.
Like that they have devised certain things, I remember. But 2 years were all common.
Right.
All common.
We were what, 60 in a class or 120 in a class?
120.
Most classes of 120 people in the class. It's a very big class.
And was the year divided into 2 semesters as now, or was it
Third year on yearly.
It was just 1 year.
1 year, but as you said, we had a half-yearly exam, and now if you have 3 semesters, you probably have 3 exams.
We have 2 semesters.
2 semesters. Okay, I was in a sense like that because we didn't call it semester, but it was called a half-yearly there.
Yeah, in 1 year, I think you had occasions when we had 14 subjects, no? Something like that, 14 subjects.
Yeah. It got a little, let's say, a little mellowed or lightened because what happened at one time is after the Chinese aggression in 1962, what happened was that our holidays were taken off. Yeah. So we had no holidays and we became an accelerated software. So that's why our 65 batch finished in December 64. 64 batch, the first batch finished in summer 64. Just terminally electronics in the fall. So because the holidays were taken away. 2 months of summer holidays went or taken away, okay, we had to audit.
Because of the Chinese war, there was a committee set up, and that committee said, you have to increase the infrastructure, you need more engineers. Then government said, all the government controlled institutions, they said that, come on, let us turn out more engineers faster. So the first batch, instead of finishing at June or May 64, they ended up finishing in end of January. Okay, but they saved half a semester, but we had 2 years, so we saved one complete semester, and by end of December 64, we were turned out as engineers, and we left the campus in 64.
But the irony was, which we were finding out today and yesterday, is that all the guys who passed out early actually went to US, and the idea was that what was sorted so that India could have more engineers. But that was not the case at that time. I think now the things have changed drastically. Your director was telling me that nowadays people don't want to go abroad. You all want to do something in India.
Yes, stay home.
Yeah. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, but you didn't go abroad. I didn't go abroad. No.
But what Pritam is saying is so right. It hurt me a lot. In fact, I did go abroad for a 2-year apprenticeship, but I was determined to come back to India. I was offered a job after the apprenticeship. I said, no, I want to come back. But I was very much taken up by this thing. And I think my memory serves me right. 70% of our batch went off. I think so. Something like that. 70% was a week. 70% of the
70% of the batch went to abroad.
And I maybe stayed there. The concept of this hastening and getting more engineers was only to serve the very smart kids like us, we are very sad. But I would say that still the top rankers like Pritam and all stay behind. So
Got it. Wow. So, so you, this is since you were the second batch, you were the first juniors at IIT Madras, right? How was your interaction with your seniors? How did you guys meet? How did you have any ragging or any interaction with your seniors?
No, I will come here. There was no ragging because we were in the campus.
Right.
Okay, we were the occupants. We were the first occupants of the campus. Okay. They were in the Sedapet and India hostels. If at all they got to come, they will come. 2-3 fellows will be there. Moment will be there. 10 of us will be there. Who will there? Who was ragging whom? We did not know. Because we were 10, outnumbering them. So then you rags now. There's some interaction. Oh, how are you? What is the name? What did you do? That's it. And they were. So they could not rag. Then what happened was in April 61, they came to when the Kaveri hostel was finished. They moved into the Kaveri hostel. Okay, and we were also there. We were also in the same Kaveri hostel. During the day, in the classroom and academic buildings, they were seniors. But in the evening, in the hostel, we were seniors. You get the point? 1 year campus life. They did not know where to go to get what and things like that. They were dependent on us for the initial first 6 months at least.
when I say, actually very harmonious. The first 2 batches we were in the same hostel, sometimes the same wing. On the batches were there. They played bridge together.
Right.
So what happened was, first of all, we went to Taramani Hostel. As I said, we shared rooms. And then after that, when Kaveri Hostel was over, then we were all shifted from Taramani to Kabred. Not shifted, actually. When we came back, we found ourselves in individual rooms. Yes. Now the second batch, the first batch, they were given some rooms at the site, or I think in Taramani Hostel itself. No, it's girls. They were given, were they given individual rooms?
No.
To remember.
See, please. First batch, well, for 2 years they stayed in Saidapet hostel who were vegetarians.
For 2 years.
And Gindi hostel who were non-vegetarian.
What is the half-X?
Okay.
July.
The 2, they were divided. For 2 years they were there. Yeah, we, in the July 60, we were put in the Taramani hostel. 2 in a row, like that. By the time the Kaveri hostel was getting up, and by January 61, we wanted to go because the next year the third ship batch was coming. So they shifted us to Kaveri hostel. There also, we were 2 in a room they put with us, but it had many rooms. Okay, because they knew that the first batch is going to come. The first batch came into only after the 2 years completed in July 61. They came in.
That's when Taramani was called.
Taramani was given. Yeah, I will tell you. July 61, when they came, they were 118 number at the time, something like that. Then we were there, we could not be accommodated. So 15 of us from the 60 batch, 60 joinees, plus the 20 people who joined the direct recruit, they were all put in the Krishna hostel. And the third batch also, housed the Krishna. So, 105 of us and 120 of them, we were housed in Kaveri hostel. From 61 onwards, July 61 onwards.
It's a little confusing, no? They had a very good system by which you could not stay out at night.
Yeah.
You could not go for a night show and come back in time. So, and there used to be a system of marking a ribbon. They had to sign some.
In the hostel, you had attendance.
Yeah, sign up. Because you're all other way involved. The roster would go around, and then everyone had to sign. And that was the proof that you are still there. And then what we found was that we do the workshop, and one of the things was to learn how to write English. And it has to be exactly a 75 degree. So everyone had learned that how to write 75 degrees English. And everyone had learned to sign. Pritamlal Kapur became PK. And Mallick became PM. And anyone could sign for anybody else. And one doctor then asked me that, how do you manage this? How come everyone's signatures are safe? So there is no law which is against same signatures. What can I do? And he has also copied me, and he's also copied me. So he couldn't say anything to us, and we found that we could move out at any time and back at any time, what we like, whatever we want.
So
that was a great thing.
So in the hostels, when you were since you had a curfew, so what things did you do in the hostel in the night? How did you keep yourself entertained?
I could chatting with each other, in the beginning. Playing with Rich, or reading, or some was studying, some was smoking together. Started smoking cigarettes. That time there was no such. There was nothing else available. So
The games are cricket, 60 was not innocent. Sports, cricket was there. People had hockey, and there was a reading room. You were the hockey, we did play many.
there was a common room also, common room, where you had magazines and as well as chemicals, with a radio, like keep it in his chair. The one interesting thing I have noticed that for you, it must be common. When I walk around nowadays, firstly, I want to compliment the IIT for maintaining the pristine beauty of the greenery. It's really fantastic that for 65 years we see this greenery and the speed limits and be very fine if you break the speed limit. And the fact that the deer have multiplied. But the sad part I find is the deer have become very domesticated. The deer are like cats and dogs, like your pets. They're eating out of garbage that is lying around even this period. In our time, the deer were meek, timid, scared. Human beings had filtered into their land. It was called the deer park. It was a deer park. And when he talked about these buses, we used to also take bicycle rides. Many of us used to bicycle. And if deer spotted, say, 6 cyclists going around, they would get startled. And in their they started crossing the road. And one of our cyclist friends got hit by the hoof of a deer. He was he knocked out. Yes, he's knocked out. What a difference. That's how deer are supposed to be, right? Timid, scared. They live in their habitat. Jump toward dragon. It's fantastic to see they become pets.
Sometimes they even pose for you if you take a picture. Yeah, I was doing that today before them.
So they were not posing, we were taking the picture. So they become pets. So yeah, it's so sad in a way, but it's human. The coexistence between humans and other life forms is so stark and very nice.
We've heard that there were cattle on campus because the villagers used to let in cattle or some cattle were being made. And do you remember that?
Okay. So it might have been goat spray, might have been a spray one at that. I don't remember.
It was basically infested with deer, but hiding in herds in the forest and getting startled. The car lights shining in your eye, they could see that. Yeah. But today I should say they are roaming around everywhere.
But it was a very scary experience. Coming back home at night, by your bicycle had a flat and you couldn't ride your bicycle. Walking back home in the darkness, it's absolutely dark, cold dark. You don't know where you're going. And there were no roads. There were all gravel roads.
And I had no road. I would go home on weekends or go to my German classes twice a week outside. And I would cycle back through village. Is there still a factory there called Raptacos Breck? They make these streptin.
I don't think, right? They used to be there when I was a student. We attended in the 80s, yes. But now I
haven't seen an illusory road with a small road, dark, dimly lit, one little incandescent lamp called sprit folds. When you say, there are potholes in the monsoon.
Yeah, but that village grew, no? Yeah. But then we left, it was much different. You could go and have a ride of there, which previously you couldn't.
But it's fantastic that, the harmony that you built over here. The institute had done maintaining the beauty. And I think, I don't know many other IIT campuses, but I think this is one of the best. I think.
Well, when you mentioned that you used to go out of campus for movies and back, I have a special question to ask you about the film club, which I know Mr. P.L. Kapur was secretary of, the inaugural secretary. So how did that happen? I mean, what went into making a film class then? What did you plan?
No, film club was because of the paucity of any entertainment here. That's how it started. But that doesn't mean that people won't go out to see the movies. And I remember a friend of mine, I don't know, Malhotra, Malhotra. God knows. Anyway, so this guy, he would go out every evening to see a movie. And he would say, I have to see Bandhani, I have to see Ragini. They are having a bath. I have to go and see them. After that, see them again. And I think he saw that movie at least 20 or 30 times. Just to see Ragini and Padmini. Or Padmini and Ragini, whatever it is.
No, that is when Padmini coming out of the water power. Of the tank, of the river, coming out, the train will come. One day the train will not come late at least. Carry on. So you are waiting. 20 times we went to see if the train will come on at least one day later. That was the Sardarji joke. Sardarji will see every day. Kabhi to train late aayegi. But that is really hats off to Pritam for starting that film club. It was such a joy. And when we used to go out to see movies, there were two people who possessed scooters in our batch. One was a Lambretta scooter owned by Anand Singh Bawa. And another was a Vespa scooter owned by Mahesh. Both these friends are no more. But we used to either take permission from them to borrow the scooter. And I didn't know how to ride, but I learned how to ride their stolen scooter. Sometimes we would even steal it. I remember that. So, stealing without permission.
So you always took permission, or was it known that, okay, if somebody took my scooter, it must be there?
Yeah, it come back. They didn't lodge a police complaint. Oh.
I remember once Mahesh went to the car and some of the people lifted the car and put it in a corner. So it would be difficult for him to go out.
Which the director got. Things like that happen.
I think they'll see.
So about the film club, sir. So can you walk us through what sort of inspired you to establish film club in IIT Madras? What were the challenges that you faced, and basically what was the interaction with admin with this? How did you manage to pull this off?
No, I mean, for example, I would be telling a lie if I said that there was a lot of thinking behind it. It just came up, and we started the club, and administration was not really involved in that. It was all our own doing, and we had a small little piece of paper on which I'll sign, and which said that he's a member of the club, and they were allowed to enter. And we used to show English movie once every week. And I remember once there was a demand for either a Hindi movie or a Tamil movie to be shown. And we said, no, not at all. Only English movies will be shown. And everyone has listened to us. Why? I don't think it will happen again now. Now the children will be far more vociferous.
Yeah. But how How did you raise the money for the equipment and the screen?
Oh, the equipment was here, already there. And because you see, the Germans had brought that in. And the equipment was there. We only had to hire the reel. And that was the same process as it is now. You hire them and you pay them for a day about whatever you're staying. But it was
But after some time, we bought another projector. Remember, we raised some money for that? Yeah. And we bought another projector, which was the more modest.
Imagine there was no mobile phone, telephone like that.
no.
If you have to contact, you have to physically go and contact her. There is no other way. Because we didn't have phones. The hostel phone will never work. So
It was one landline only, and then there was long queue for using that line.
so he had to, what he did was absolutely commendable because, today it is easy. You can WhatsApp, you can do phone call and things like that. But to take up that challenge and get it done without fee, everyone was looking to him to screen a movie on that night. So, but he delivered. Rain or shine, he delivered.
Now, another thing that's worth the trouble talking about is that people used to fall sick with upholstery. So, in the evening, you find long queue because the doctor comes there once or twice a week or twice a week. Touch, okay, what do you have? Cough, cold, pin, the leg of pin. Okay, medicine number 13. Remember that? And then another fellow comes along with, I have a knee pain here. Okay, number 14. But that's so great. So, what was very prevalent in that moment was Dobie's itch. Yeah.
And what?
Dobie's itch is an infection that you get in your groin area because of bad conditions of washing. The Dobies used to take your underwear, wash it. So when you come back, it's horrible. The itching is horrible. So there's a special cue for that. And that's also ointment number 14 or 16 or whatever. That is terrible. That will.
I believe the medical officer used to prescribe codopyrin for a number of years.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Without even 13 or 14 or something. It's like having a dolo nowadays. Right.
Well, I would like to ask you about the extracurricular activities outside the campus because I know Mr. Kapur particularly, you are a rowing club member, a boat club member, as Mr. Anand Singh Bawa did riding.
Yeah.
So how did you get the time to do this was the main question.
I personally, I applied for a lot of these things and I did participate. Every time I went home on the weekend, I did in money. So I would have to ask for a mother. We never asked our father. We scared of our father, or he wasn't able to use. And I remember, because you asked this question, I remember my mother saying, how many things do you want to do? And are you there to study or what is it? What's your joy? I had joined the riding club, started riding. He was with me. I joined the boat club, the first batch and second batch. But I had to give up at some point because you should die. And because of my social structure in the first year, getting to know everybody, I was slipping in my grades. And so it was tough. I had to give up. So I found it difficult. It's difficult. It was difficult to have any extracurricular. But I did. I attempted all. But then chosen. And then I played hockey. Then I went to Bombay to represent the IIT Madras to play hockey. They are doing theatre also. Yeah. And the next year I did
You mean the inter-IIT sport?
writing. And then the next year I opted not to do it because I think we were having it in Delhi.
Yes.
IIT. And I found that if I were going to spend that much time, then I would start slipping. That's why I told you about the gradation. So if I wanted a first class by the end of my 5 years, then I better do well enough in every year. Otherwise, it won't count it. And then some things had to give. Something had to be all the sides. prioritize.
Baba and few others did have joined the flying club also. Baba used to tell me, how
And there was a rock climbing club, you remember? Yes, rock climbing is a tribe.
Near Winnabago Airport.
Huh?
The old airport. Near Winnabago Airport, there was a place where Mount Thomas.
Mount Thomas.
Yeah. So, C.V. Sashadri used to do that.
All right. Okay. I would like to also ask you about the literary week that started in your time, I believe. 1962 was it, when you had a literary week and you used to have literary competitions, quizzes, oration, and so on.
Yeah.
Do you recall that? Those events?
I don't know the rap mic, but there were, as I was just mentioning, our boys in our batch, at least there were, potential talent, with the talent of Charles Dickens we had, 10 tall, like that. But they chose the wrong profession, engineering. Otherwise, had they pursued their real passion of literary thing, you would have become, world famous authors. They were such good English, such fluency, beautiful to read. In fact, our batch was the one that gave big push to the literary activities in IIT in those days.
I would add to that, Kumaran, that I would say I can name two right away. Anantu and Ramesh Vaswani. They, you would find it in your archives. They represented us in many debates, in inter-school debates in Chennai and elsewhere, and also in quizzes. I think we were very well represented in that area. So they were very good at that. So
Dad, Vikram Rao, and Siddharth Kulbe.
So yeah, these were our stars at that time for debating on the
And Srinivasan went about first year, they were winning all the quiz prizes in India. They were the quiz master. And the debate is Siddhartha and Ramesh Vaswani. They will win all the prizes. In the youth festival out in Delhi also they merit prizes.
So there were a lot of extracurricular activities at that time, and people participated in the whole heart.
And then there was chess, there was table tennis, in which he all. And there were other sports also, tennis, cricket.
I was chess champion in 1961. But then I gave up for something else, so it went up like that.
Yeah, I guess we have to learn how to prioritize in our life. So yeah, you can't be everything to everybody. So,
So you were saying something. So I meant to ask you about inter-IIT sports. So how was it to represent IIT Madras at other IIT? Like you met sort of like we call it met your match. How was it? How was the competition? How was the camaraderie feeling? Because we have when we march with our institute flags for inter-IIT, like we feel a lot of pride. How was it for you?
fantastic. I felt very good. I only represented as I went to Bombay and felt very good. But I don't know about meeting other people, but we were so engrossed in our own team and motivating each other and ensuring that we all give our best. It was a lovely feeling. It's great to represent your unit, your school, your college, whatever. I wish I could have continued that.
I represented Madras in the inter-IIT sports in which was held in Madras in December 64 for the TT table tennis. That is something like it is unimaginable when you are representing and all the things. But also a lot of tension and become nervous because you got to win and that kind of a thing. So, but it is nice. And that time the way that we bonded was, the team was, we were all like each encouraging each other. We were practicing. It was terrific. We were otherwise in inter-hostels, we were all competitors. But as a team, when we were for 1 month, we were practicing together. And that was really nice, man. Good feeling.
But were the inter-hostel competitions also like very fierce? Very
My God. I mean, I will tell you, the cricket match, the it was the Kaveri was a Krishna. We were in Kaveri, and the Krishna hostel were all dominated by the third match. Okay, in the Kaveri hostel cricket, team, the entire 11 was practically there was only one person from first back, but everything was second back. The first back, and those days it was all match cricket. So we played, we won. Okay, and then the way that we all go drum beating like that, and then to the Kaveri Krishna hostel. The next year they beat us thoroughly, and they our captain ka. Oh, you mean efficiency was burnt to the. They were, my God, that rivalry between Kaveri and Krishna is unimaginable. But see, so much so, we were, but among the three batches, you cannot see, everybody was so close. See, these sports were such that, it was so nice. Everybody will be, if Lionel Paul is playing, Bertram tournament in Loyola College, is a third batch, I will cycle down all the way to go and cheer it. Nangambakam, I will cycle down. I am a very puny fellow at that time. It will like, but I will go all the way to cheer him up. So that is the kind of camaraderie was there between the three batches. But when it comes to games, fighting, that will fight like hell.
So it was a rivalry inter-hostel, but when it came to competition with other colleges, we were all our college like.
But it was rivalry. It was just to say. It was fun, and afterward they'll all come and then say, "Come on, yeah, you would play very well. That you played well." It's like, it was always there. But they were and then there was also something like blue team, red team, and all. They were mixing the hostels also. They were trying to see, okay, why it should be like that. So blue team, red team, like that. They there. But it was interesting. The way that they try to mix up people and.
See, the rivalry was such that I would always say to him, Chandru, after the match, you're a great guy here. I let you win today. One more. Thank you for your excellent conduct of this moderation or anchor or compare. You are a born artist, I tell you.
Thank you so much.
Whether physics, your maths is your physics is your line, or comparing is your line. You're very.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Kumaran sir, as well for pitching in some of the most. I don't know. I didn't even know those things happened. So thank you, Kumaran sir, for his knowledge.
Thank each one of you for participating in this program. Thank you for being a leisure for us. Take care. Thank you. Thank you. All the best. Good best.